Have you ever felt like the more you think, the more distant you become from others? That the more you understand, the less people want to listen? You're not imagining it. In fact, it's an age-old struggle for anyone who dares to think deeply. History is filled with brilliant minds who have faced the same fate. From Socrates to Galileo, from Tesla to Einstein, intellectuals have often been ridiculed, ignored, or even persecuted, not because they were wrong, but because they saw things others didn't want to face. Take Arthur Schopenhauer, one of the most brutally honest philosophers of all time. He believed that intelligence was, in many ways, a curse. He argued that deep thinkers, because of their ability to see the world clearly, often end up isolated from society. But why is that? Why is thinking deeply something that seems to push people away rather than bring them closer? The answer lies within the very nature of human psychology. Think about this. When you're next to someone physically stronger than you don't necessarily feel weak. You may even admire their strength. The same goes for wealth. When you meet someone with more money, you might feel envious, but you don't necessarily feel inferior. But when you encounter someone who is intellectually superior, something strange happens. Psychologists refer to this as the mirror effect. A deep thinker doesn't just present new ideas, they reflect back the limitations of those around them. And let's face it, most people don't take kindly to that. A person with greater intellect forces others to confront their own shortcomings, and this discomfort can trigger a deep sense of insecurity. So, why does intelligence make people uncomfortable? The key is in how we perceive different forms of superiority. Physical strength and material wealth are external. They don't challenge who we are at our core. But intelligence? It's a different story. Intelligence challenges our very identity. When someone presents a deeper or more thought-provoking perspective, it forces us to question our beliefs, our understanding of the world, and ultimately, ourselves. And most of us aren't comfortable doing that. It's not that people are malicious or bad, they're just trying to protect their egos from feeling inadequate. Throughout history, deep thinkers have been pushed to the fringes, not because they lacked intelligence, but because their ideas threatened the comfort of the majority. And it's a biological reaction. We're wired to protect our sense of self from anything that challenges it. Now, think about your own experiences. Have you ever shared a deep thought in a casual conversation, only to be met with blank stares or awkward silence? Have you ever noticed how quickly people try to steer conversations away from deep topics? This isn't just random, it's a defense mechanism. It's much easier to stick with surface-level talk than to face the discomfort of challenging ideas. This is why intellectuals often feel isolated, not because they want to be alone, but because society tends to push them away. Research even shows that in social settings, confidence is often valued more than intelligence. People are naturally drawn to those who project certainty, even if their ideas are shallow. Charismatic leaders, motivational speakers, and influencers who tell people what they want to hear often gain more traction than deep thinkers who challenge popular beliefs. This paradox, the more truth you seek, the more you risk becoming disconnected from the mainstream, is a reality that deep thinkers must face. As they challenge ideas and disrupt the status quo, they find themselves further removed from the group. And that's when society starts to push back. But it's not just about rejection, it's about survival. Neuroscientists have shown that when people feel intellectually inferior, their brains go into a state of heightened alert. It's a survival instinct, similar to the fight or flight response. The presence of a deep thinker activates this primal defense mechanism, making them seem like a threat, even though they may simply be sharing an idea. So, what does this mean for deep thinkers? The harsh truth is that society, on some level, fears intelligence. But that fear isn't personal, it's about self-preservation. The more deeply someone thinks, the more they challenge the comfort of the collective mindset. And for many, that challenge is simply too uncomfortable to face. But does that mean deep thinkers should give up on sharing their ideas? Of course not. It simply means they need to be aware of the forces at play. As Schopenhauer wisely put it, intelligence is often a burden because it forces us to confront uncomfortable truths. And the more we understand, the more isolated we may feel. Ultimately, society doesn't reject intelligence out of malice, but because it forces us to ask difficult questions, questions that many are too afraid to answer. It's easier to live in ignorance, to go along with the crowd. But for those who are willing to embrace the discomfort of deep thought, the rewards may be profound, a deeper understanding of the world and a greater connection to what truly matters.